Hey YouTube, Time Itself here. In this update video, I'm going to talk about YouTube, the channel, ghosts, and a whole bunch of other stuff. A lot of topics, so if you want to skip forward to something else, I'm going to put some annotations on the screen and links down in the description. You can jump around to whatever you want to hear about. Battlefield 4 fans, yes, there is an SRAW video coming. I'm still working on it. And oh yes, this is a new microphone, Christmas present. You might be able to hear the fan of my computer in the background. I'm still trying to work out how to make the best use of this. It is a Blue Yeti, and I'm kind of liking it so far. And that was a new explosive intro for 2014. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll talk a bit about the footage in the background that's going to be going on. I've got some Battlefield 4 Rush. I joined the game late on Parasail Storm and, well, tried my best to help them out before the end of the game. Then I've got some Ghost footage. Yes, I've been playing Ghosts. Got some Domination on Sovereign. A fairly close game that I managed to lead the team to a pretty good win. And then I've got some kill confirmed on Octane, using a Bulldog shotgun to patrol the buildings, stay out of the open, and generally humiliate anybody who thinks it's a good idea to run it where they heard the shotgun being fired from. We're going to talk about some of the changes to YouTube, including Google+, the Content ID changes, and the upcoming 2014 changes to Monetization review, which I imagine we're going to hear a whole lot more about, and I'm surprised I haven't seen as much on it already. We're going to get into the channel, some ghosts, some Battlefield topics, and just the channel in general, and then I think I'll talk about ghosts for a while since I haven't put up a ghost video yet. First, let's talk about YouTube. At the end of October, I think it was, YouTube made some changes to their compression algorithm, and one of the big changes I think is they seemed to reduce the bandwidth. And in a lot of cases that didn't make much difference at all, but for fast-paced gameplay, especially with lots of detail, and Ghosts is particularly bad because they like their grass and their foliage, it can result in some really bad artifacting at points. Ghost doesn't look as bad as YouTube makes it out to be. It is washed out, but it isn't a blurry mess that it looks like on YouTube. I can't do anything about it. I'm going to play with some of the render settings to try and make it look better, but really, YouTube is just butchering most gameplay footage, and especially Ghosts, but Battlefield too. It is disappointing to go from thinking, hey, maybe they'll up the bandwidth, and maybe even we'll go to 60 frames per second in some cases. You know, we'll actually get higher quality video, and instead Google goes, no, we're going to try and save on our bandwidth bill for YouTube, you know, cut back on that. So, sorry, here you go, videos look worse now. There's just not much I can do about that, so we carry on. We also got the Google Plus integration. I'm not sure why they thought this was going to be an amazing thing, what this was going to change. Google just trying to simplify things for themselves or promote Google Plus? I don't know. I do know that it kind of got to be a mess there for a while. We're mostly back to the same standard of comment that we had before, but now everything is just confusing, and I don't know if I need to go to YouTube or Google Plus in order to figure out where my settings and messages and all that stuff is. It's kind of a mess, and it's hard to see where one site ends and the next one starts. The thing that gets to me is that Google Plus is a social network, and the YouTube comments needed more of a discussion system. An example of a discussion system would be Reddit. And so YouTube brings in their social network and is like, hey, use this as a discussion system. It's like that. Very clearly, the problems we had in the first week or two were showing off that a social network is not a discussion system. It'd be like Facebook going, hey, instead of user pages, everybody's just going to get their own subreddit. That'll work out great, won't it? Okay, that's hyperbole, but you get the idea. Still, again, we just carry on. Then, in the middle of December, we got the Content ID system changes, or more accurately, who was getting scanned with Content ID got changed. Essentially, smaller channels that were partnered with networks like Machinima and channels like mine, all but the biggest, in fact, started getting scanned with Content ID. I don't really want to get into this too far, but Content ID essentially is there to let copyright holders easily identify their content that other people have uploaded and apply policies to it, just to track it, to monetize it, or to block it outright. From a gaming channel's perspective, not a whole lot changed, especially with regards to the games. Yeah, okay, occasionally there's a trailer or a cutscene that causes some issues, but multiplayer gameplay, well, Content ID system isn't going to pick that up. Somebody still has to go through, and so the Content ID system being applied really didn't change a whole lot there. No, instead of gameplay, it was the music. Either a game's soundtrack or music that was added in production got matched by the Content ID system, and subsequently, in most cases, claimed. The validity of these claims varies from, well, this game's soundtrack wasn't licensed for use in YouTube videos, so no, you're not going to win that one, to outright fraud. As a channel, it's annoying to have to deal with more paperwork, but it's especially grating that during the dispute process, the channel no longer is able to monetize the video. Instead, it's the claimant who gets the ad revenue. In my case, that means that over the past 2 weeks, about 15% of the views on the channel have been monetized by various companies making claims through the Content ID system on music that I thought I had licensed under Creative Commons attribution. I'll just have to wait to see how everything plays out, though at this point I expect the companies will simply wait the full 30 days, not do anything, and everything will go back to me in the end. It's just super frustrating that I can do everything by the book, especially in this case, and yet I still get screwed, and YouTube is just like, yep, too bad. What I do want to spend a while talking about are the changes to the monetization review policy. Essentially, the same affiliate partners that suddenly got put on the Content ID system are going to have to go into the monetization review system come 2014. Where claims coming from the Content ID system are supposed to be between the copyright holder and the YouTube channel, and it's just up to them to work it out, the monetization review is between the channel and YouTube. It's one of the ways YouTube tries to limit their liability by checking up on their channels and making sure they have whatever is necessary in order to monetize those videos. Where Content ID was a nuisance, monetization review has the potential to be a showstopper for channels like this one. What's even more concerning is that we've known this has been coming for a while now, and the networks haven't done enough to prepare their partners for dealing with it. Networks vary, and they can have many potential functions. Until 2 weeks ago, one of the things that partnering with a network would get a channel was out of most of the Content ID scans. But even more importantly, for gaming channels like this one that feature content from game publishers like Activision and EA, it used to get the channel out of YouTube's monetization review. It's always been mysterious voodoo how it worked, but in simple terms, being with a network allowed the channel to monetize gameplay that otherwise couldn't be monetized. One assumption was that the network, because they were big, important, and had money, had worked out something with the publishers. Another, seeming more likely, especially since Nintendo decided they wanted to monetize YouTube videos of their games, was that the publishers just condoned the monetization of those videos. And the network's role in everything was mostly just liability in case the publisher got unhappy. It never really seemed to happen, but you'd see occasional pre-release footage taken down, or at some point I think maybe some glitch videos, but for the most part the viewers, the channels, publishers, studios, networks, and YouTube all were at least reasonably happy with the situation. Now here's the change. Monetization review is about convincing YouTube that a channel has the rights to monetize a video, not just that the publisher condones it. Can you see what's coming? Why aren't the networks out in front of this, getting in touch with the publishers and avoiding the, well, shitstorm that's going to be headed their way when they get back from their holiday vacations in 2014? Especially painful are going to be some cases where companies think they have things under control, but in fact, well, they don't. For example, in Guild Wars 2, developer ArenaNet, publisher NCSoft or PlayNC, has terms of use, and they posted some clarification on their forums, so one of the community managers, and said, monetizing a fan-created Guild Wars 2 video on YouTube via its partner program is generally not against these, referring to the terms of use. But those terms of use say that content has to be used in a non-commercial fashion, and so we've introduced another incredibly nebulous term, non-commercial or commercial. ArenaNet seems to fall into the camp of, if you're not charging for it, it's not commercial. Blizzard is the same way, I think. The problem is the terms of use don't clarify this, and since YouTube is trying to cover their asses, they take a conservative definition of commercial use and consider monetizing videos to be commercial use and state, you must own all the necessary rights to commercially use all visual and audio in your video. Creative Commons did a big study on what people generally consider commercial use, and this is one area where there was a lot of variation. Companies like ArenaNet are going to find out it's not their definition of non-commercial, but YouTube's that matters here, and they're going to have to rewrite those terms of use, going to have to bring in their lawyers and their publishers in order to figure things out. And so I don't expect a particularly speedy resolution here. Oh, and I just love the use of usually in that quote, because YouTube's conservative reading of usually will be never. So if you don't have a license or permission, then we're into, well, hopefully it's fair use. And it's a possibility. Videos on YouTube range from clearly being covered by fair use, like reviews, or just uploading cutscenes, which wouldn't be. Are you telling me YouTube is going to decide where the bounds of fair use are and then consistently apply them to thousands and thousands of videos? Yeah, okay, good luck with that. And to the extent that YouTube ever decides to get fairly liberal with their definition of fair use, companies will realize, and publishers, that they actually want to be giving out licenses so that when they decide they don't want something up, well, it's just their license that they have to say, we don't want this, and not fair use that they're trying to fight. You know, I hope I'm wrong about this. I hope nothing big happens. I hope there's no big drama come 2014 and everybody can just keep on making videos and having fun. Now, the publishers obviously like having videos of their game on YouTube. It's obviously great promotion. Most of their hesitation is just not understanding the medium and wanting to maintain a measure of control over their property. Well, it's understandable. Networks, I don't know why they're not out in front of this. Obviously, they want to keep the channels happy and keep those videos monetized. That's how they keep their partners. That's how they make their money. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, I'm sure the networks would love it if the publishers said, hey, networks, we need you in between us and the channels so we don't have to deal with them individually, and your job is to manage them. Yeah, who knows? We'll just have to wait and see how things turn out. Well, that was quite a while spent talking about paperwork and money. I don't even make that much on the channel. I admit, I do appreciate the few extra dollars every month. I certainly notice it, but more than anything, I think it's just trying to keep track of how YouTube works and everything. And wow, every couple months it seems like they just decide to make a significant change to some part or another. Well, and then there's Ghosts, which obviously I'm playing in the background here. I didn't pick it up right at release, got it a couple weeks later, but I've been putting a fair number of hours in with some friends, having fun, playing Call of Duty. I mean, how many COD titles have we played at this point? 7, 8? I can't even keep track right now. I knew it was coming, but I am disappointed that there is no theater mode. It takes out so many of the options that I would like to have in terms of making videos and just reviewing what happened. It's disappointing it's not there. I do have some ideas from some Call of Duty Ghosts videos that I'd like to put out, but in general, I'd say I'm suffering from Call of Duty fatigue and just posting stuff because I think it's impressive or fun. It doesn't happen so much anymore. It's very easy to find somebody who's better than me or who's funnier than me playing this game, and so that's not an area I particularly try to compete in. On the Battlefield 4 front, the launcher videos started doing remarkably well. Just a wonderful surprise. I imagine quite a few of you are here thanks to those, so welcome. I do intend to finish the series. The SRAW video is more than halfway done at this point, but I've still got more work to do on it. There are already plenty of SRAW videos out there, and so I'd like to make a particularly good one. It's just going to take a little while, but I will get there. I'm having a lot of fun with it already, so hopefully finish that up before too much longer. I'm frankly not quite sure how to follow up the launcher videos. I have some ideas for Battlefield 4 videos, but nothing quite like those. Obviously, they went over really well, and so I'd kind of like to continue in that vein, but I'm not sure where to go. I don't really want to do gun reviews. There are already plenty of regular gun reviews out there, so I will have to try and come up with something. We'll see what happens. I was going to do a campaign review, maybe even a comparison with Call of Duty Ghosts campaign, but it was coming out overly negative and I didn't really want to do that. I think I still have the footage, but it's probably not going to happen at this point. Ultimately, I really do want to make more videos of Call of Duty, Battlefield, Kerbal Space Program. We might even throw in some Hearthstone here before too long. Keeping the quality up though, choosing stuff to focus on that I can do uniquely or particularly well, it's always a challenge. For 2014, one of the things I'm going to try to be better at is responding to messages and comments. Right now, I'm absolutely terrible about it, and it'll often take a month or more if I ever even get to it. I feel bad about that. If someone took the time to send me a message, I should probably at least reply. I do read them at this point, it's just getting around to responding it takes too long right now, and I need to be better about that. The one exception to that being voice messages on live. I normally check my live messages through the webpage, and so I can't listen to those until I get on, and I usually forget about it at that point, so yeah, that's not a thing. Let's talk about Ghosts for a minute. I am really liking the larger maps, just that there isn't, oh, here are your 2 or 3 specific sniper lines of sight, and everywhere else is going to be medium to short range, that there's some variety here. I really appreciate that. It is washed out though, and at points it can be really hard to spot people in the background. There's not enough contrast, and the colors and textures are too similar. Even if you know exactly where a guy is, in some places it can be hard to find him until he starts shooting and you see the muzzle flash. It takes a while to accumulate the points, enough points to unlock a lot of stuff, and so especially early on you really don't get a lot to choose from, but I do appreciate that when I do have enough points I can unlock whatever I want, and I'm not stuck in this, well, I need to earn another battle pack and hope that I randomly unlock the thing that I'm after, especially that flash hider. I would really appreciate that in Battlefield 4. One issue that's been fairly consistent so far has been matchmaking. I can be playing with 3 or 4 friends who are local to me, and we'll end up in a game against a team from Australia, and there'll be rubber banding lag everywhere, and nothing will get fixed, and it's one of those, why on earth would you think this was okay? I mean, I miss the option to set connection preferences to best from Black Ops 2 because this really needs it. However, on the other end, the game's not very good about joining people to games in progress, and I end up with lots of 3-on-4s on these larger maps, and it's just painfully slow. And that won't be in the lower population playlist. No, Domination, TDM, I've played several TDM games with only 1 or 2 people on the other team. It just, why aren't you joining people to this? I mean, okay, maybe for the last couple minutes they decided that people didn't like getting joined to games in progress, but for the first 5 they were down by 5-10 points for the most part. Yeah, throw some people in and keep things interesting for everybody. We also have a similar issue as the EMP in Modern Warfare 3 with the Oracle in Ghosts. It's not nearly as bad, so it's much more tolerable, but still, it's the mid to late game thing that most people are going to spam, and you're going to have to deal with it. Though again, it's much less of an issue. The Oracle is the wall hack scan every couple seconds. The EMP, though, was just, oh my god, just having to chain those in any kind of serious situation got really old, so it's good to see that they've at least mostly addressed that kind of thing. As far as next-gen consoles go, I don't see a reason to get one at this point. I don't see a reason to choose one over the other at this point. There's just no reason in my mind, and so I'm gonna wait and see how things turn out. Titanfall looks to be one of the first possible motivations to get a new console, but we'll have to see how it turns out. I think a lot of people are kind of disappointed in how Call of Duty has just kind of slowly gone downhill, and Battlefield, well, they really messed up their launch, and who knows if they'll ever recover with Battlefield 4. I mean, I enjoy a lot of what Battlefield has to offer, but at points I just do not understand what they're thinking. They're going to be a major competitive game? No, look at, which was it, Modern Warfare 3? That the competitive scene, MLG, said no, we can't do this because it doesn't have some of the features we need. LAN support, pre-game lobbies, proper countdowns into loadings. I mean, these are all things Battlefield 3 and 4 don't really have. I think there are ways to make it happen on PC, but it's still a pain. I mean, when you have a game where you load in and, you know, whoever loads the tank first is the one who gets it, and the side that loads in first with their jeeps and whatnot, they have a significant advantage just based on when they load it into the game, that's a mess. That's not up for, you know, serious competitive play. Sure, you can arrange a match, challenge some people, set up an event. Is it going to be a serious esport though? No, no way. Here we are, 2 months after release, and the praise people can give is, well, it's more stable and doesn't crash all the time, even though there are still plenty of other issues and bugs, they're not quite as crippling. We still have some serious features lacking that were in Battlefield 3. For example, a big one would be the custom servers. If you're on PC, they already have this, but for 360, no, we're still waiting for private servers. That's probably going to be a couple more months, just like Battlefield 3. So, I mean, I like some of the changes they made to the maps in 4. I think some of that's an improvement, but on the whole, it's hard to argue that they've got 4 to the point that they had 3 at. I mean, a lot of the stuff feels like they didn't even bother figuring out how exactly all of it would work out. For example, the battle packs. Yes, it's annoying that some of the stuff you really want for your guns is limited to battle packs. The hilarious thing has been that, well, people are earning XP boosts faster than they can use them at this point, it seems, which is absolutely hilarious. If you're on the fence about Battlefield at this point, I'd say pick up 3 for cheaper and wait a couple more months for them to fix everything in 4, and you'll get a better experience playing 3 right now than you would 4. Although, again, 4 is mostly working at this point. Still, there are just a lot of things that don't feel thought out or complete. As far as next-gen consoles go, what it comes down to is I'm waiting for a game to come out that I really want to play with my friends on a next-gen console, and then we'll all get the same system, and we'll all play the game and have a ton of fun at that point. Until then, I'm just gonna wait. As you probably noticed, I am using a shotgun in this gameplay, the Bulldog, which is a semi-automatic, obviously. It does not have a very large magazine, and I didn't have enough squad points right when I put the class together before this game to get extended mags for it. Obviously, once I finished this game and had enough points, was one of the first things I added to it. It gets a lot of one-shot kills, but I feel like it's double tap to be sure with this thing. And even though it took just a little while, there is a 20 kill streak, mostly with the Bulldog shotgun. I'm just kind of patrolling these major buildings here, letting people come to me, and flanking out into the street when I get a good chance at it. Well, this has been one of the longer commentaries I have ever done. If you're still around, amazing, and thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. I am very much looking forward to getting the SRAW video out. I just want to make it a good one. Anyway, again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in 2014.